Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. How do you feel about this fight?
Everybody know I used to work with Khamzat. I love the guy. After COVID, it really messed him up. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. Throwing up like blood. As far as I know now, he's in Russia, he's in camp, he's focused, he's a superstar. He's one of the biggest stars in the UFC. When you have this kind of pressure, sometimes people doesn't know how to handle it. It's hard to bet against focused Khamzat, healthy Khamzat. I think he can beat anyone on any given day. As talent, as technique, it's Khamzat. If you go to the third and fourth and fifth round, how this fight gonna go? I believe Khamzat can go there. Did to him what he did to Robert Whittaker. 100%, I believe this.
CM Punk surprised MMA fans with his take on the upcoming UFC 319 main event between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis, adding to the buzz surrounding one of the year's most anticipated fights.
It's so hard to bet against Chimaev, you know, like, especially after what he just did to Whittaker. It's just like...
Yes. Despite his own disappointing stint in the UFC, Punk's star power continues to draw attention, and he recently made an appearance on the Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast, where he shared his thoughts on the matchup. Although he admitted his excitement for the fight, Punk also expressed some reservations about attending UFC 319, given his busy schedule. His analysis of the contest captured the attention of fans and analysts alike, particularly his take on the clash of styles between the two contenders.
Punk, will you really maybe not be at the Chicago show? That actually is a blow. Is it true that you're not scheduled?
Brother, I'm so busy. Like, it's absolutely insane. When is it, the 18th?
Yes.
Yeah, I know we're in Europe for like a big chunk of August, but I don't think it's until the last week of August. So I got to double check. I got to check things out. But hopefully I'll be there. I'm gonna sit next to my boy Belal. You know,
we're gonna hold your foot to the fire. We're gonna put you on camera if you come. If you ain't there, we're gonna just show an empty seat. This is where CM Punk's supposed to be.
Punk emphasized the challenge of betting against Chimaev, especially after the way he dismantled Robert Whittaker in his previous fight. However, he also recognized the skills of Du Plessis, believing that the South African's intelligence and strategy could play a big role in the outcome. Punk noted that Du Plessis would likely be well prepared for Chimaev's relentless style, particularly his tendency to dive for the ankle early on in the fight. According to Punk, the fight's dynamics could shift depending on whether it reaches the later rounds. He speculated that if the fight does make it to the 5th round, it could turn into a grueling battle with both fighters running out of steam, similar to the infamous heavyweight bout between Derek Lewis and Francis.
Yeah, that is good.
That is good. Dricus or Khamzat?
It's so hard to bet against Chimaev, you know, like, especially after what he just did to Whittaker. It's just like, you know, but I think Dricus is really, really smart, probably smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. And like, he knows what his game plan is going to be. He knows Chimaev is going to come and like try to dive on an ankle, like right out of the gate, you know? So I'm sure he's doing his preparations. That's what's going to make this so fascinating. Like, I don't even know if I see this making 5 rounds. And if it does, we're probably going to have 2 very, very like tired fighters in there.
The predictions for this fight have certainly generated a lot of excitement in the MMA community. Du Plessis' training partner Mark Hume has also shared his own thoughts on how the fight will unfold. Hume is confident that Du Plessis will finish Chimaev within 3 rounds, claiming that the undefeated star will burn himself out, trying to match Du Plessis' pace. Hume believes that Chimaev hasn't yet faced an opponent with the same level of wrestling prowess as Du Plessis, and that his friend's strength and skill in this area will be a deciding factor. The South African middleweight has already proved that he's more than capable of withstanding pressure, and Hume is confident that Du Plessis will use his wrestling to dominate Chimaev.
All right, mountain predictions for UFC 319. Who you got, Dricus or Khamzat?
Brother, mountain wrestling better than Boer-jitsu.
Meanwhile, UFC welterweight Gilbert Burns offered his own perspective, lending an insider's view on the upcoming bout. Having trained with both Chimaev and Du Plessis, Burns has a unique vantage point on the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters. Burns acknowledged that Chimaev's early aggression and ability to finish opponents quickly could pose a serious threat to Du Plessis, especially if the fight stays within the first 2 rounds. However, Burns also pointed to Du Plessis' remarkable endurance and mental toughness, which could allow him to survive Chimaev's early onslaught and take control as the fight progresses. Burns believes that Du Plessis gets stronger the longer the fight goes on, and that his ability to push through adversity will ultimately give him the edge.
I trained with Dricus a lot. Dricus is actually a very, very good fighter. Crazy cardio, very physically strong. He's a very hard fight to predict. You know, I think Chimaev is going to start very strong, like he always do. I do believe Dricus can kind of slow him down, don't get submitted, relax a little bit. But I do believe Dricus, if he get past that first round, I think that's the hardest part. What I think he will do, I think he's gonna pass, and then he's gonna be a nightmare for Chimaev. I think Dricus is a monster, hits very hard, doesn't break, good gas tank. I do believe Dricus is gonna beat Chimaev and remain the champion.
As with any major UFC fight, analysts and fighters who have faced Chimaev have been vocal about their predictions. Former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker, who has fought both Chimaev and du Plessis, provided a rather simple yet crucial breakdown of the fight. Whittaker believes that Chimaev's best chance at victory comes early in the first round when he can use his wrestling and grappling to neutralize du Plessis. However, Whittaker also pointed out that if Chimaev cannot finish du Plessis in those initial moments, the fight could swing in du Plessis' favor. Du Plessis is known for his ability to survive difficult situations and fight through adversity, and Whittaker suggested that if the fight extends beyond the first round, Chimaev could be in trouble.
Khamzat and Dricus fighting for the belt in just over a month's time. What are your initial thoughts on that matchup?
Honestly, I'd have to say Dricus would be a favorite. I think I'm leaning towards Dricus. The whole thing can be summed up. Chimaev will take him down. It's will he finish him before he gets back up? That's the $1 million question. Because if he doesn't finish him on the ground, yeah.
In contrast, Michael Bisping offered a different approach to how du Plessis should approach Chimaev. Bisping argued that to beat Chimaev at his own game, du Plessis would have to engage in the grappling exchanges head-on rather than avoiding them. Bisping acknowledged Chimaev's dominance in the wrestling department, particularly his takedown ability, but emphasized that du Plessis has the skills to match him in this area. Bisping pointed to videos of du Plessis grappling with top-level black belts and submitting them, which speaks to his own grappling prowess. The key, according to Bisping, would be for du Plessis to fight aggressively, not let Chimaev dictate the pace, and fight fire with fire in the wrestling exchanges. If du Plessis can do this, he might surprise Chimaev in a way that other fighters have not been able to.
However, Dricus du Plessis, I mean, you cannot doubt this guy, and he said he wants to fight Khamzat on the ground. He said everyone else tries to avoid going to the ground with him. He said, I want to fight the best version of him. I want to test my skills against his on the ground. He's not intimidated. There's videos of Dricus du Plessis online taking on an entire Gracie Barra black belt team and submitting them all one by one. He's big, he's strong, he can wrestle, he's got great judo, he's got knockout power, he's had a nose job, so he's got a great gas tank now as well. You know, this is and they hate each other. They absolutely hate each other. And Boers, the wolf, the bad guy, coming in has talked such a good game, and he's such a good villain. He finally gets the shot at the belt. You know, can he do it? Can he pull it off? Can he live up to all the hype? Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, I think you have to fight him on the ground. I think you can't avoid it because he's just going to take your back and ride you out.
Yeah.
When you saw Gilbert Burns fight Chimaev, it was the groundwork that kept Chimaev a little nervous. I think you have to be able to fight him on the ground.
He's going to get you down. Look what he did to Whittaker. Look at what he did to Usman, right? Usman, with that fight, you might go, oh yeah, Usman's had his best days behind him. Then look what he did to Joaquin Buckley. He's still got it. And that's how good Khamzat Chimaev is at wrestling.
Another interesting perspective comes from Johnny Elyn, who has faced some of Chimaev's vulnerabilities in past fights. Elyn pointed to Chimaev's grueling battles with fighters like Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, suggesting that if du Plessis can survive the early onslaught, he may be able to exploit some of Chimaev's weaknesses. Elyn also noted that du Plessis has shown an ability to go the distance in tough, long fights, and that his endurance could be a major factor if the fight enters the later rounds. If Chimaev burns himself out early and cannot secure a finish, Elyn believes du Plessis' experience in grueling battles will give him a distinct advantage in the later stages of the fight.
Because everyone thinks of him like the boogeyman, like a guy to avoid.
He's not, though. He's a guy. He's just a human. Yeah, he's just a human. Like, Gilbert made him look human. Usman made him look human. I think DDP's gonna make him look human, you know? Plus DDP's like a big physical guy. I don't think Khamzat's gonna just fucking manhandle him, you know? And also, his cardio is a little questionable. I don't think DDP's cardio is as questionable, you know? He gets tired, but like, he still has a lot of output. Like watching Chimaev with Usman, you know, third round, he was looking
and even
very
Gilbert,
tired.
yeah.
And Gilbert. He fought Gilbert like an idiot, though. He fought Gilbert pretty dumb. Like, he was, like, kind of letting him up, like, trying to be exciting, I think.
Belal Muhammad also chimed in with his thoughts on Chimaev's cardio. While Muhammad acknowledged Chimaev's elite grappling skills, he raised concerns about the Russian-born fighter's endurance. Muhammad believes that if Chimaev can manage his pace and avoid burning out in the first few rounds, his grappling and striking will give him the edge. However, if Chimaev struggles with his cardio, du Plessis' ability to keep coming forward and wear down his opponent could make the fight more competitive than many people expect. Muhammad's take is one of caution for Chimaev, urging him to remain strategic in his approach, especially when it comes to pacing himself throughout the fight.
Dricus du Plessis. But when you're looking at the guys he fought stylistically, right? He hasn't fought a guy who trying to take him down yet. It's all been strikers. His last two, it's Adesanya and Strickland. Like when he fought Brunson was killing him the first couple rounds. Yeah. And he just gassed. You know, we've seen him get taken down by Brunson. We've seen him get taken down by Whittaker. He's gotten taken down by guys so easily. That's why I think Chimaev's gonna walk through.
I know that's your boy, but Khamzat has got some of the worst cardio in the entire company.
You don't need cardio if you finish the guy in 2 minutes.
But Dricus isn't gonna get finished. He's got an iron chin and an iron will.
Can Khamzat Chimaev finish Dricus du Plessis?
Perhaps the most intriguing prediction comes from Israel Adesanya, who has fought du Plessis and knows his toughness firsthand. Adesanya is leaning towards du Plessis, but he anticipates a chaotic fight. Adesanya has great respect for du Plessis' toughness and mental resilience, suggesting that Chimaev's early dominance might not be enough to secure the win. Du Plessis is known for his ability to adapt, and Adesanya believes that his opponent's endurance could play a crucial role in the fight. While Chimaev might have the edge early on, Adesanya is banking on du Plessis' ability to weather the storm and take over as the fight progresses. This could turn the fight into a more unpredictable affair than many fans anticipate.
Not bad, but I still think Dricus gets it. I think just late finish, late finish. Khamzat would, I think Khamzat will, if he wins, it's the first 2 rounds, or the first round. But Dricus is just chaotic.
Luke Rockhold weighed in on the matchup, offering a similar perspective to Adesanya. Rockhold sees Chimaev's aggressive pace and relentless approach as key factors that could overwhelm du Plessis in the early rounds. However, Rockhold also recognizes that du Plessis has shown time and again that he can weather tough storms and keep coming. If the fight reaches the later rounds, Rockhold believes du Plessis' conditioning could tip the scales in his favor, especially if Chimaev starts to tire. Rockhold sees this as a fight that could drastically change in momentum as it progresses, and if du Plessis can survive the early blitz, he could emerge as the victor.
It's not always about the most technical guy, you know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does, you know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Who wins, Dricus du Plessis or Khamzat Chimaev?
With so many predictions from top fighters and analysts, the build-up to UFC 319 has certainly heightened the intrigue surrounding this middleweight title fight. Both Chimaev and du Plessis bring unique qualities to the table, and how they match up inside the octagon will be nothing short of a spectacle. While Chimaev's aggressive style and lightning-fast finishes have made him a fan favorite, du Plessis' toughness, endurance, and wrestling skills could prove to be a real challenge for the undefeated star. Whether the fight will end early in a dominant Chimaev performance or evolve into a grueling battle where du Plessis takes control remains to be seen. One thing is for certain, this is one of the most exciting middleweight title fights in recent memory, and the entire MMA world is eagerly awaiting the showdown at UFC 319.